Hey, girl, hey.
Hey, girl, hey. How you doing?
What's going on?
You know.
I do know.
Living the dream.
God damn!
Do you want to give me your goddamn?
My goddamn is that tomorrow is the very first day of spring break.
We have the same goddamn.
I'm so excited.
Tell them what we're doing.
We are, well, my
Yeah.
girl, my bestie here,
Right here.
Stacey. That
Hey,
one.
yo.
Yeah, in case
Me.
you didn't know. She got a fucking metal detector.
Beep, 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 beep.
And
Like the kind that goes, you hold on your arm and
Yeah.
you wave it back and forth like a real metal detector.
a real metal detector. Like the people at the beach that have them, and you're like, what the fuck is that guy doing?
Yeah.
That's going to be us.
It's us.
I'm so excited.
We're taking
And
the kids treasure hunting on the beach.
It's going to be spring break, so there's going to be like a shit ton of people, a.k.a. a shit ton of treasure.
Oh my God, we're going to find so much treasure.
Oh, I'm so excited. And my kid loves treasure.
Your
right?
kid is going to be I'm more excited to hang out with your kid with a metal detector
Yeah.
than I am myself to
Oh, yeah.
find the actual treasure.
Oh, yeah. If we find anything,
I
he's
hope-
going to be on it. He's gonna be
Covered
so excited.
in rings. This kid. Every finger. A random
Oh, my God. I hope so. I hope we can find anything.
tin ring. Because nobody's bringing their jewelry to the beach, right?
Right? You would think.
I
Yeah.
don't
Unless
know.
you're losing like an engagement ring.
Yeah.
But,
Ooh,
yeah.
don't get me excited.
Listen.
Don't get me excited.
I'm so excited. He's going to lose his fucking mind. The other kids, they're whatever. They'll just be playing in the surf or
Yeah,
whatever.
they'll be excited to dig.
Yeah,
Now,
but he's
did
going to be like, am I tall enough to hold it?
Did
Like,
you inform him that we have a metal detector? Or is that part of surprise?
I don't think I've talked to him about it.
Ooh.
Yeah. I just
Go
told
blow
him
his
that
mind.
we would be going to the beach a lot
Yeah.
and that we would be going to a pool and we'd be going to SeaWorld. And they were like, not SeaWorld. Let's go to the beach. 'Cause
They
we
didn't
went
like
to
SeaWorld?
It was really busy and hot. And then we
Yeah.
didn't catch any shows. And we
Oh,
walked
no.
like from over here to over there
No,
to over here
no,
to over there.
no.
It was fucking, we did it wrong.
Yeah.
And then we were like, let's go to the shark exhibit as like the last thing. And
it's
then the
nice and
fucking
cold.
moving escalator was
Broke.
broken.
God
And so
damn it.
Everyone, it was just a pile of people through this little like cave rock
all
thing.
muggy.
Oh, there were so
Oh,
many
no.
fucking people in there.
No.
And it was moving so slow. And I was like, I need to get the fuck out of here.
You need to go with your bestie. By the way, you guys still haven't been to Disneyland, right?
No.
Can I come so that
Duh.
it will not be like that for you at Disneyland?
Yes, please.
Because I have a real problem with the fact that you don't want to take your kids to amusement parks. I understand why, right? Blanket statement. Totally
Yeah.
fucking get it. But you need to do it with me.
Yeah. No, I agree. I need to do it with you because
It's
Girl,
different. It's
I didn't
different.
tell you. Did I tell you? I think I did. I did because I was like texting you in the moment. Like,
Yeah.
listen, I'm trying not
To kill my kid right now.
to be uncool.
Yeah. Yeah.
We went to SeaWorld.
Yeah.
Listen, if my kid listens to this later, I love you and I enjoyed our time in the line.
And we're going to
ride.
make it better.
But we stood in that line for like 40 minutes.
Yes, we've
got
all
all
done
the way
it.
to the front, got
Yep.
locked in the chair, and he was like, fuck this, I'm out. And I was like, no, you're kidding. And he started bawling, and I was like, get the fuck, like, strap him in, we're fine. And the guy was like, thumbs up to ride it, thumbs down to get off. And he thumbs down, and I was like, you bitch. And then they fucking unbuckled him, and he's like getting up or whatever. And so then I try moving mine, because I'm like, hey man, like, I'm gonna go.
You're like thumbs downing.
yeah, I'm like, is mine gonna unlock too? And the guy was like, oh, are you gonna get off too?
Yeah, that's my fucking kid. Are you going to watch him?
Literally, are you gonna fucking watch him? Because I'll ride it. It
Yeah.
takes 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, can he stand right there? Are you serious? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get the fuck off. What are you talking about? Ugh, I
He's
felt
like some
so...
teenager.
Literally, yeah. And I held it together. I'm like, it's fine, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then afterward, I'm like, hey, man, it's cool, whatever. Like,
Right.
next time,
Yeah.
this and that. I'm not going to ride the line ride with you.
No. We've done that. So, I
He
mean,
apologized later
Right.
for not getting on the ride. And I was like, broke my heart. I was like, I'm
Sorry that
I'm
I-
sorry that you felt the need to apologize.
right.
But it had like fucking wrecked me. I was like, God damn it, this sucks.
Girl, I fucking get it, man. In Disneyland, same shit with my younger one. Doesn't want to fucking ride anything, fights it, cries the whole goddamn line, and you're waiting in line for like 45 minutes. And I'm like, dude, you're going to fucking like it. And then I made a rule for him. I don't recommend it. I mean, follow it if you want to. Where I'm like, you have to ride everything once. If you don't like it after the first time, you don't have to do it. But if you can fit on the ride and if we're all going, you have to try it.
That was ours. If you can fit on it, then you're going to be fine. It's
Yeah.
not going to be too scary
Yeah.
for you. Let's go.
Oh, no. Yeah. And I think because my little one, I got him when he was like 4 or something, you know? So he thinks that that's just like a universal rule for everyone. He's kind of like brownies are out of season kind of line, you know?
Yeah.
So it's still kind of working, but he's just like, fucking freaks out the whole time. Like we went on Space Mountain. That kid,
He went on
crying.
Space Mountain.
Girl,
I almost cried on Space Mountain the
I
first
was
time.
holding him and he was just screaming, and I'm like, let's go. And we rode it, and he screamed the whole fucking way.
They didn't stop
So-
you?
No.
I was literally like,
No.
like he's going to be fine
Yeah.
once he figures it out. Or
Right.
like, you scare him the one time and then they realize it's not that fucking
That's
scary.
actually fun.
Yeah.
But you know what? That can
That was how-
backfire.
That's true. But that's how I got, because I was terrified of roller
Me
coasters.
too.
And that's
Yeah.
how I got on,
Yeah.
was probably with you, maybe. I don't know.
Probably. Which I got on because I had an older brother. He
Right.
literally, for Goliath at Six Flags, I was
God.
scared to ride it.
Yeah.
It was like, I don't know, we're fucking 12 or
Yeah.
whatever, right? And I'm like, that's like the biggest drop in the fucking North America. I don't even know, but it's huge.
Pretty sure it's like Niagara Falls.
It's like very intimidating to stand next to that thing. And I was
Yeah.
like, Jason, I don't think I want to go. And he was like, you're going. And he just kind of like playingly picked me up. And I was holding onto the rail and he dragged me. And then I had to let go. Like, no, oh, he's serious.
like, oh, I guess I am going.
But that's the only reason I ever did it, is because I had an older brother that was like, you're going to do it. And then I did it. And I'm like, oh, I get it.
Yeah, now I
It's a
get it.
Fucking blast.
See, my brother was scared of roller coasters and stuff too. And I would do like the roller coasters, but if it had a loop or went upside down, I was like, nah, because I've been small my whole life. And they're
Yeah.
like, this seatbelt's one
Oh,
size
you
fits
fly-
all. And I'm
girl.
like, this seatbelt does not fucking hold shit.
I would open my legs as hard as I could to
Yeah.
create pressure so I
Yeah.
wouldn't lift out of the seat. I'm like, there's no way. People fucking have to fly out of here and die all the time.
My hands would hurt and
Yeah.
like not be able to unclench when I
Yeah.
was done.
You know, as an adult, that doesn't sound very intriguing, but as a kid, loved it.
Loved it. But that was how I got on my first loop-de-loop one. Was
Yeah.
I got all the way locked in, and then I'm a people pleaser, right?
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
then they're like, you good? And I'm like, I've never been better.
I was like, I'm not even nervous.
Yeah, I'm just crying silently for no reason.
Oh my gosh. Okay. But see, that's the thing. So maybe it's different at Disneyland because they're just used to kids always crying. So they're like, whatever, go. And SeaWorld's a little more like, we only have like 3 fucking rides.
SeaWorld is like, we're for rescuing.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, we're not here to traumatize
Yeah.
anybody. And Disneyland's like, whatever, you pay the money, get on the fucking ride. Let's go. Boom.
Yeah, that's your decision.
I don't fucking care if you fall out, man. What is
Oh
this,
my
Splash
God.
Mountain?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Huh.
Yeah. I'm just excited for like, the way that I have taken to doing amusement parks is like, we just are enjoying being outside with the family, you know?
Yeah.
And like, whatever we see, we see.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the
SeaWorld?
attitude that I need to adopt more
Yeah.
of. And now I have SeaWorld passes. So I'm like, listen, we're going to have multiple chances to
Yeah.
ride this ride.
Yeah.
He'll have a whole year to
Yeah.
get up the fucking courage and all
Right?
that shit.
Exactly.
And I will ride the line ride with him again. I will sit in
know.
that fucking 45-minute line and get off at the front again.
Right. I know.
As many times as he needs.
But maybe it'll be different because we'll be there. And if it's not, that's okay. Huh. Anyway, that's our goddamn, is we're about to have the sickest fucking mom spring break. Spring break ever.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
so
so
excited.
excited.
Me fucking
I keep getting
too.
a little sunburn on my nose because I haven't been wearing sunscreen outside.
Girl,
I'm like, I'm about to be so fucking tan.
you need to put it on your nose though, because if you get skin cancer and you have
Oh.
to lose your fucking nose,
I think
I'm
I
gonna
got a little
call you
bit.
Tales from the Crypt all the goddamn time. What? What'd you say?
I'm gonna get a prosthetic nose, but I'm gonna get all different ones that I can click on.
Ooh. Like the light up eyes and shit? Like what kind of different ones are you gonna get?
Like a Roman nose,
Oh,
a
okay,
witch
like
nose,
I
a
see.
Pinocchio's nose.
Huh. That would be interesting. I'm trying to envision it, you know?
I mean, it was like a magnet or something. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Clicks on? yeah. I have a weird bump though that I should probably get checked out pretty soon. It's different. It's
Girl,
new.
I need to get this thing cut off my foot too, so we should just go together.
Okay, let's just fucking.
I went to the dermatologist and she was like, yeah, you should probably cut that off, but it sucks because it'll hurt for a couple days. You don't need to do it. And I was like, that was very misleading.
Yeah.
I guess I'll keep an eye on it. And I've been keeping an eye on it. And I'm like, you know what? I think we should just cut it off, even if it's painful. I
Yeah.
think it'll be better.
Yeah. Also, you'll be able to walk and stuff. Like, it might hurt.
I don't know why I let her talk me out of it. You know when you're
Yeah.
just not prepared for something at the doctor's office and you're like, yeah, sure. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I showed them my scariest moles, and they were like, yeah, you
Those are
could
fun.
cut them off. And I was like, do you recommend it? Like, I'm not a fucking doctor.
Right?
Why did I come here? I know I could.
I know. That's what they said about my scary mole on my back, too. That's the one I was worried about. And she was just like, I mean, you can.
They're like, if it's irregular, I'm like, this motherfucker is a, like, treasure map.
Right. We should go find a different one together.
It's like
Go
an
get 'em. Cut
island
off.
with cliffs and stuff.
Yeah, right? Like, it might be a treasure map.
Yeah.
What if?
Can I keep it? If you cut it off, can I flatten it out?
Oh, that's an idea.
Frame it?
Edward Gain.
Edward. Old Edward.
Oh, Jesus.
All
Hey,
right.
do you want to hear a story about Mad World Murder?
Yes.
Good, because I'm going to tell you. All right, so this week I'm telling you about George Allen Smith, the fourth.
Whoa.
Fifth? Fourth. Oh, no. I'm panicking on my Roman numerals.
The V is 5.
I know, but if the one is before
IV
it,
is
is that
4?
4?
Yeah.
Yeah. Though if it's after it,
Then
it's
you
6.
add it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh,
so
okay.
George Allen Smith the fourth.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Those aren't even
so many
exciting names.
first basic names.
Yeah.
So
Like George Allen?
Yeah.
Wow. Can't let that name go
you
to waste.
must be a blast. Okay, so it's the year 2000.
Okay.
And I don't have any before times per usual.
Mm-hmm.
And George Allen Smith is 21 years old,
Okay.
and he was very handsome.
Oh.
And he had everything going for him.
What a guy.
Picture rich white boy.
All right. And it's the year
in
2000?
the 2000s.
Wow.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He had recently graduated with a degree in business from Babson College in Massachusetts. I don't know if you know where that is, but I was hoping you would because it's Massachusetts.
My dad went there.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Well,
He went to Fitchburg State.
Winky winky. Okay, so he graduated with a degree in business and he was working as a search engine analyst in Boston.
Okay.
He eventually got tired of like the desk work and everything, and he decided to move back to his hometown of Greenwich, and he was going to work for his father's liquor store. His dad owned a liquor store there.
Okay.
So the whole plan was that George was going to move back.
I believe they call them package stores.
Oh.
Packies.
Oh. I would like to deeply apologize. My research said liquor store.
Whoa.
So the plan was that George was going to move back and he was going to eventually take over the business so that his dad could retire.
Okay.
So it's not like he's just like doing some slum job or something.
Yeah.
Not that working at a liquor store is. It
No, but it
possibly
was
is my
his liquor store.
ideal of a good time.
Yeah.
Idea, not ideal. So now that we have that settled. Cut to 2 years later, it's 2002, and George meets a 25-year-old woman by the name of Jennifer, and the couple fall in love.
Okay.
On June 25th of 2005, George and Jennifer get married
Mm-hmm.
in a fairy tale wedding style kind of thing, like at a fucking castle. I don't know. It was called like Newcastle Inn or some shit. I didn't fucking write it down, but
Okay.
it had the word castle in it. So I'm like, rich,
Wow.
for sure they got married at a castle.
Mm-hmm.
So after they get married, they go to celebrate their honeymoon, which was a 12-day Mediterranean cruise.
Dang, son.
I know. Fucking rich people. Am I right?
Am I right?
Also, I'm pretty sure anybody can go on a cruise, but not me.
Yeah.
So.
You can too. You will someday.
But not in the 2005s for 12 days on a Mediterranean cruise. God damn, you live in the dream.
My husband was probably on that fucking cruise.
He probably was. He could probably fill us in on the rest of the details.
Mm-hmm.
So we might have to ask him some things. But the couple had planned this honeymoon together, like the whole fucking thing, right? They just had this fairy tale wedding. They're going to go to a fairy tale honeymoon. Nothing but the stars for these two.
Living the dream. He's like, I own a liquor store.
Right, baby, I can get you any fucking cruise ship you want.
Yeah.
So it's June 29th, 2005.
Okay.
And the couple board their cruise ship called the Brilliance of the Seas. So
Yes.
we'll have to check in with Brandon on that
All
one.
right. Do you know what cruise line it was?
Fucking
Princess?
Caribbean. I don't know.
Was it Caribbean?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Do Caribbean go to the fucking south of France?
The Mediterranean? I don't know.
I don't either. I have no idea. I didn't write it down.
I could tell you if it was an expensive one or not, though.
Ooh, okay. So, well, it sounded expensive. As I tell the story, there's like 13 fucking decks.
Oh.
There's casinos and restaurants. I've never
Well,
been on a cruise.
they always have
Okay.
those,
See,
yeah.
I've never. There's a
Girl,
glass,
you're gonna
glass
love
elevator. Glass elevator.
Yep.
Oh.
Most of them. Yep. That opens to the fucking mezzanine or some shit.
Listen, this could have been. This could have. All I hear is
Some
fucking
of the-
Macklemore.
Some of the elevator buttons are labeled with that, like mezz. And you're like, what? I went to those to be like, what is this fancy bitch?
And you're like, oh, this is a mezzanine.
I did not belong there. Brandon's like, you have to wear a gown.
God, I don't know if I should ever go on one.
You will.
Okay.
It'll be fun.
Deal. So they leave on their ship, Brilliance of the Seas, and they dock off the French Riviera
Yes.
and they tour down the coast of Italy. So I guess they're going around the boot.
All right. Wow.
While they're Nope.
While they're at the ankle of the boot. The high heel, you might say.
I don't know. Maybe this is where that's located, but I was trying to say while anchored in Livorno. Okay, good. Thank you. I'm fucking not cultured at all. Which is in the Tuscany region of Italy.
Ah, yes.
The couple toured around and they enjoyed fucking Tuscany. And George bought a bottle of absinthe.
What a guy.
I know. Because in 2005, I don't know if it is illegal now, but in 2005, it was illegal. Right?
Yeah.
It's like, you fucking hallucinate or whatever.
Yeah.
So you can't have that shit. And it's a cruise, so you're not supposed to bring booze back on the ship, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he buys it and he tucks it into his waistband and he's like, don't worry about me. I'm going to get this back on the ship.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like it's not that hard to get booze onto ships.
It's not. Also, you can totally bring it on. Probably not absinthe if it was illegal, but you can bring it on. They're just like, you got to check it until we're done. Because they want you to buy their booze.
Right. That's what I assumed.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing he's smuggling it because he's like, I'm not going to buy it and I'm for sure going to drink this and it's illegal.
Yeah. He's like, I want to hallucinate on the boat.
Exactly.
In the mezzanine.
So he, precisely. And so he tucks it in and he sneaks it onto the cruise ship. The next stop was the Greek island of Mykonos.
Oh.
And the couple spent the 4th of July exploring the island. I don't know if they celebrate 4th of July.
I'll bet they don't.
I think they do, though. But I could be mixing it up with New Year's. But I just remember my coworker telling me that they went to, like, Italy for one of those things. And the fireworks were amazing. And I was like, I can't imagine it's 4th of July, right? Independence Day?
No. Independence Day?
But
the thing that they have nothing to do with?
But I can't imagine that was New Year's that she was talking about. I don't know why. I don't feel like it was New Year's.
I mean, maybe they have their own thing that goes on 4th of July, like Box Day.
Maybe. But you know when it's like
Fireworks Day.
One of those...
American Independence Day. And they're like, it's just a reason to drink. How, like, we drink on Cinco de Mayo.
100% is what I was thinking.
Or, like, St. Patrick's Day.
But I don't know if that's for sure. And I don't... You know when you think you know, and you're like, no, for sure, the car was blue or whatever, and then you see it was clearly white, and you're like, I fucking can't trust myself.
Yeah.
That's how I feel right now in this moment. So I don't really know. And it doesn't matter, because the story has nothing to do with fireworks. It's just interesting they were cruising around on the 4th of July.
Yeah.
Okay. So they get back on the ship and they go to their cabin, which was room 9062. And
Okay.
in case you want to, this article mentioned it every time that it said it went back to their cabin. It was like room 9062.
All right. Was it an inside cabin or was it a balcony?
It had a balcony.
Ooh, that's the way to go.
Girl.
It's the only way to go.
Girl, it sounds fancy.
Yeah.
Okay. They go back to their room and Jennifer starts getting dolled up for the night.
Yeah.
And while she's getting all dressed up, George goes out on their balcony and enjoys a cigar.
Mm-hmm.
The couple go to dinner at the ship's restaurant called Chop's Grill, and they eat a fucking romantic dinner, and then they head up to the casino for some late night gambling.
Love it.
Now, if you can't tell at this point of the story, like I said, they're very financially well off, and I guess they kind of flaunted their money on the ship in a way, or people on the ship recognized that they were wealthy. Like, it was, you would look at them and think they're wealthy.
Okay.
Like, she had a fat diamond ring. Like, he got her the biggest fucking diamond ring. And they were, like, super dolled up and dressed up, that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, but, like, everybody on a cruise ship is.
I know, but I guess there was, like, some rumor. Obviously, something's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
And so there was some rumor. It's not clear to me, like, if this was across the ship or a couple of people or certain people that said this, because it just said people claim that the couple had been overheard talking about how they had a shit ton of money in their cabin. Like, they had somewhere.
That's like rule fucking 1.
Right?
Don't flaunt your money.
Fucking
your
right.
cash.
But it's 2000 and they're a young couple, right?
That's 2005.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he was like 26 at that point.
That's true. I don't know. Okay, so it could just be rumor, or they could have been flaunting it.
He grew up in a
and
liquor store.
It was somewhere between like 20 to 50 grand is the amount of money that's in
Jesus fuck.
there. A lot. And
in
they
their
were,
cabin?
and the thing was that this was honeymoon money that they had gotten from their wedding, right? So they brought it with them for the honeymoon.
Put it in the fucking bank.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then you bring a card with you.
I don't. But it's
Jesus.
international. I don't know how that
All
works.
right, I'm not going to victim blame because I'm guessing where this is going.
And we don't even know if it's true. It could just be a rumor that somebody said, because they are well off, you know, and something does happen. So who knows if that was just a rumor started or if it really was true and they were flaunting it.
Yeah.
Now, just for like a quick little caveat, the family does come forward in this case and say that they don't think that the couple had the money on them.
Okay.
Okay, but we'll get to that.
Smart.
But we don't know.
But they could have been like, hey, we got $50,000 from our wedding.
That would have been helpful to know.
And now we're on our honeymoon.
Could have
and
been.
people are like, what?
What?
They
Hello?
have $50,000?
So at some point, the couple befriend 4 fellow cruisers at the casino, right? One was a man by the name of Josh Askin, who was from California. And the other 3 were Russian Americans, which this article continues to just refer to them as the Russians.
Okay.
Moving forward. So, but I don't know how fucking Russian they were, okay? So they're what, like, is it just like how I'm Russian American or
Right.
whatever, fucking German American? Or, you know, like you're just fucking saying the biggest nationality you have in your blood
Right.
pool? Or were they really like super
Like
Russian?
from Russia. And
Yeah.
they're like,
I think it was like they're from Russia because they do speak Russian.
okay.
But I don't know for sure because here are their names and where they're from. So there was 19-year-old Gregory Rosenberg, who was from Florida. Surprise.
Okay, that doesn't sound Russian.
Not at all.
None of that does.
And Zachary and Rusty, I don't know their fucking last names. They're
They
just
don't sound
Zachary
Russian
and
either.
Rusty.
They sound like they're from Kentucky.
And they were 18 from Brooklyn. What the fuck?
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
18? Why are these guys going out with 18-year-olds?
I don't, well, I mean, it's just, you're on a cruise ship.
Oh, I
Probably
thought
just
they were like friends.
No. Okay, so Josh and then the 3 Russians, they're just on the cruise ship. They're fellow cruisers.
Oh, okay.
And they meet them at the casino.
I see.
And the Russians, each of them all do different things during the story. I did not try to keep their names and say who did what. So you're going to hear a lot of the Russians. But then I was like,
Russian 1, 2, and 3.
yeah, at the very end, I was like, what if I'm doing the thing where I'm just calling them Russians also, but they're not like fucking from Russia.
Like the article
Yeah.
was being insensitive.
Yeah, like I'm not fucking African American, I'm black.
right? Like,
or whatever. So
I'm not from Russia.
yeah. Okay, so that's what we're working with. 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds. And
On a fucking Mediterranean cruise.
right.
Okay.
The Russians all knew each other. They were all from Brooklyn together. The one guy that was in Florida, I guess he had moved there later or whatever. And there's actually a 4th Russian on the boat, but I think he was like 17 years old or something. And this night he's in the cabin.
Okay.
But there's like those 4 Russians. There's the one California Josh guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have George and Jennifer, the couple
Yes.
from Massachusetts.
Okay.
So they all befriend each other at the casino.
Mm-hmm.
And we have these alleged rumors of somebody possibly overhearing that this couple has a shit ton of money.
Mm-hmm.
Now, these Russians, it turns out that they were causing some issues on the ship prior to this evening.
Kind of issues.
Well, they were getting busted for like smoking and drinking in the pool after hours. They were also harassing room service and shit. So they would like call up room service and be like, you better have my fucking food ready now, and I expect my fucking luggage up here. And I guess there was some missing luggage or some shit. Like it got so bad that the room service manager person operator thing was like, hey, don't answer any more calls from that room because they're just causing a ruckus.
Oh, geez.
And they can't threaten your life on the ship. Like, that's a problem. So then
Yeah.
they got security involved. And security went down and talked to them and was like, hey, man, we're not going to answer your room service anymore. You need to chill. You can't be fucking cussing people out and shit.
Yeah.
So they were in trouble often
Yeah.
for 18-year-old boy shit
Yeah.
on a cruise.
Just being too much.
Exactly.
Rambunctious.
But it sounds like it was extra. You know, like they kept having to be told to chill it the fuck out. So it was July 4th when this night started. Now it's the early morning hours of July 5th, and it's 1:24 a.m. I'm going to jump back for a second. So about the Russians, okay?
Yeah.
At their room, before they had gone up to the casino, they had called room service and started cussing them out. So that happened that night, right?
I've never wanted a sandwich so bad that I'm going to cuss at
I
someone.
guess they like fucking ordered a feast of food or some shit. I don't even know. But they start cussing them out. The security comes down. They don't get any room service. That's when they go to the casino. Okay.
Yeah.
So that whole thing had just happened.
Okay, so they're kind of heated. They're like, I wanted my goddamn feast.
Yeah. And they're drunk. It's
Yeah.
fucking 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah,
and
they
they're gonna
probably
go
got
to
the drink
casino.
package.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they don't get room service. They go to the casino. They're all playing poker. This is where all of them merge. Josh, the Russians, George, Jennifer. They're all playing poker.
Okay.
And this is how they kind of befriend each other, I think. I don't know for sure, but this is where the night starts with them. And Josh and George get to talking, and they talk about how they have this bottle of absinthe. I don't know if it's George's bottle or if Josh also had a bottle because they go to Josh's cabin to drink it, but they're talking about it, right? And so Josh and George leave to go drink in Josh's cabin. I know, and fucking Jennifer's just hanging back at the casino with the Russians.
That's some shit you would do.
That is some shit I would do. 100%. It's a problem.
Yeah.
So he goes and does that. And I guess they go to Josh's cabin, take some drinks, and then on the way back, George swings by his cabin, presumably to pick up more money to go casino gamble shit, right?
Okay.
But there's like all these swipes of the cards on the door that match this whole timeline, right?
Yeah.
They both come back to the casino around 2:20 a.m. So it took them, I don't know when the fuck they left.
An hour-ish.
Well, no, because that was an hour from when the Russians got in trouble for room service. So I don't know how long. It was quick, though.
So less than an hour.
Yeah, it was really quick. So the casino closes 10 minutes later at 2:30. They get back at 2:20, right?
The casinos close?
I guess on this cruise ship it did.
You can tell how old I am.
Right? And
Like, wow, it's still open at 9 p.m.?
how amazing. So George, Jennifer, and Josh, and a casino floor manager by the name of Lloyd, they all ride the glass elevator up to the Star Quest disco floor.
Fun.
Because the night's not over.
Yeah.
The disco's still open.
Yeah.
So this is where we're working off of third-hand information, okay?
Okay.
Josh is on the elevator, and the Russians side with Josh, and they kind of vouch for this is how the night went. They say that as Josh rode the elevator up with a couple, he found it really weird because Lloyd was like draping himself all over Jennifer right in front of George, and George didn't seem to care.
Now, Lloyd was
The floor manager of the casino.
Okay.
Just some random guy.
just a dude.
We don't
yeah.
know Lloyd.
He's
Yeah.
a worker.
Yeah, he's just a
Okay.
worker that's going to go party with the guests, I guess.
I've met very fun workers on cruise ships,
See?
and they will go party with you.
That
I've
sounds
gotten a megaphone from one.
Wow. Can't imagine what a cruise would be like with me. This is a problem.
It was with Brandon's mom. We had a megaphone. We led a fucking...
Conga line?
It was a pub crawl.
I can only imagine how fun that would be.
So much fun.
Oh my God. Okay, so that's what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
But Josh is like, hey, it's kind of weird because Lloyd's all over Jennifer and this is a newlywed couple. That's kind of strange.
Yeah.
So they get to the disco and they all meet up, the Russians and everybody. They didn't ride the elevator up together, but they all sit around the like revolving bar.
Okay.
And
They're going to go boogie.
I guess. And then last call rolls around at 3 a.m. So they're only there for like 30 minutes.
Okay. I didn't know they had last calls out there either.
I didn't either.
It's like an international waters, man.
They get their last call at 3 a.m.
Okay.
One of the Russians orders a round of vodka shots, the final round, and hands them out to Jennifer, George, and some other man, and himself.
Okay.
The bartender that night says that George seemed to be standing and walking without problems. Like, obviously everybody was drunk, but he wasn't like
Falling
incoherent
down,
or
yeah.
anything. But Jennifer, on the other hand, she was obviously drunk. Like, she was kind of, like a wasted chick.
Listing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a wasted chick at the bar. And some people, like the Russians and Josh, claim that Jennifer was like hanging all over other men, including Lloyd and other random men around the disco or whatever. And
Okay.
that George seemed unbothered by it, I guess. Like, he was just doing his own thing.
Okay. Well, they just got married. They've got a good relationship. She's out having a good time. He knows he's going to take her home at the end of the night.
Right?
I could see it. Not every dude is super fucking protective.
Exactly.
Like,
I was thinking
don't
the
talk to my
same.
wife.
I was thinking the same thing. And then I was like, was she just a drunk girl that like people are like, oh, you're okay,
Yeah, yeah.
Or is it like somebody's trying to take advantage? It could be either. I don't really fucking know.
Yeah.
But Josh and the Russians make it sound like Jennifer's being a hussy.
Okay.
Okay?
Well, it sounds like they're just blaming a woman.
Right,
For
exactly.
existing. But
So around 3:30, which I don't know why they're still hanging out at 3:30 because the thing
Last
closed
call
at
was at
3.
3.
Maybe it's like they do last call and then you have like an hour or some shit
Probably.
like that. But anyway, so around 3:30, someone says that George walked up to Jennifer and called her a hussy. Like one of the Russians or some shit in that group says he walked up to her, called her a hussy, and then she proceeded to kick him in the nuts. Some
it.
say that they were playing and others say it was real quick and made him crumble to the ground.
uh-oh. Well, listen.
So I don't know if that's true or not.
If I'm drunk, you come up to me and call me a hussy, you might get a swift ka-chow too.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. So we don't know.
Especially if you're drunk, you're like, pow, oops, sorry.
Oops.
Was that your nuts?
And I don't even know if any of this is true. Like, I
Yeah.
don't even know if he got kicked in the nuts, but according to some people, he crumbled to the floor because the nuts kick was so bad. And I don't know if those some people are the Russians or if it's just like patrons, so that like, I don't fucking know. So-
Patrons.
Patrons. Evidently, Jennifer says, fuck this, I'm out. Literally, quote, fuck this, I'm out. And she leaves the disco with Lloyd.
Uh-oh.
All 4 of the men say she left with Lloyd. So the whole scene here is that the couple get into an argument and Jennifer goes off to have sex with some random guy on the boat. That's what
Allegedly.
the Russians and Josh are saying. The problem with that account is that the passkey records don't line up with the actual timeline of the night's events. So there's like evidence that Lloyd was using a passkey to get into his girlfriend's cabin
Uh-oh.
at 3:25. And there are other eyewitnesses outside of the Russians and everybody that say that Jennifer was seen at the disco alone leaving at 3:30. And the reason we know that's accurate is because a fucking event occurred. So at 3:30, Jennifer left the disco and there was a maintenance man in the hallway like doing some maintenance shit. And he saw Jennifer stumble and fall and hit her head on the wall.
Ooh.
Like she was wasted.
Yeah.
And he was like, this lady needs help getting back to her room. So he asked her, like, where's your room? She says deck 9. He gets her on the elevator, rides the elevator with her to deck 9. She gets off the elevator and then he goes on his merry little way. So when she gets off the elevator, she goes to the right, but her cabin's to the left. But the maintenance man doesn't know that, right?
Yeah.
Well,
He's just like, good luck. I got you generally
to your
here.
deck.
Yeah.
And so he just goes on his merry little way. Now, when she went to the right, she walked all the way to the ship's bow, and then she just like crumbled to the ground and passed out on the floor of the ship.
Relatable.
So that's where she's at, and it's 3:30 to 3:45.
You'll wake up with a sunburn.
Yeah, something. How's nobody gonna be like, hello?
I mean,
ma'am?
it's 3:30 in the morning. There's
I
probably
guess.
not many people out there.
I guess. Okay, so that's the account that we know happened from the maintenance man, but he didn't know that she's passed out at the bow of the ship.
Yeah.
He just knows that he got her
dropped
to the
her
bottom,
off.
right?
Yeah.
Now, George, he remained at the disco until 3:45 for whatever reason. We don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
There's different accounts. It could have been that the couple's argument and the buddies were hanging out behind a drink. We don't fucking know, but whatever. At this point in our story, Josh and the Russians claim that George is so wasted off of vodka and absinthe that he needs help getting back to the room.
Okay.
And I just want to say that they also were drinking all the same stuff.
So they're like, we're going to
We'll
help
help
him.
you.
We're
Yeah.
capable, even though.
Or maybe they did something to him to make him not capable. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Okay.
Oh, like a little Rue Hefnol?
Something. So George gets to the cabin with his 4 fucking friends. And when he gets there, Jennifer's not there. And so he's worried. And he's like, hey, man, can you go look for Jennifer? Like, can you guys go find her? And so they're like, yeah. Don't worry about it. We'll go look for her. So the guys leave and they leave George in the bed. But they only leave for like 9 minutes. They go looking for her for 9 minutes. And then they return to the cabin at 4:01 without Jennifer.
Okay.
They obviously don't look that hard because she's just down the fucking
Yeah.
aisleway
Yeah.
at the ship's bow or whatever. But when they get back into the room, they claim that George is passed out on the bed. And so they take off his shoes and they tuck him into bed and they leave him there.
Why did they do that?
I don't know. And then they go because they're like, oh, we didn't find Jennifer anyway. He's passed out. We're going to leave.
Yeah, but like, no, you wouldn't do that. Our guys and their guy friends wouldn't do that for each other. They'd be like, haha, crazy.
It's funny because a lawyer in the case representing the families was like joking, like, oh, fucking George gave him a kiss on the fucking good night, you know,
Right.
before he went to bed or whatever.
Yeah. It sounds like a little much. Like,
It
wow.
does. This whole
very-
story sounds like a little much.
Very preachy of you. Like, well, we put him to bed because he was had too much.
So they then went back to the Russian's room and ordered room service at 4:30. Now remember,
They're
room
not allowed to
service
order
isn't
room service.
Exactly. And there's no account of actual room service. Like there's no ticket or anything. But according to their story, they order room service at 4:30. Whatever.
Okay.
So the people staying in the cabin next to George and Jennifer, they hear shit going on this night, okay?
Uh-oh.
So they hear at 4:05, they're awoken because there's some loud shouting going on in George's cabin.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like problem shouting, it's like cheering, like you're taking a shot, like drink, drink,
Oh.
drink, drink, right? And
Uh-huh.
so this is 4:05 in the cabin.
Okay.
Then he heard chatting of male voices and silence for like 5 minutes or so, maybe when they were going adventuring around looking for Jennifer.
Mm-hmm.
And then they heard males arguing out on the balcony of the cabin in what sounded to him, the guy that's
Neighbor.
eavesdropping, it sounded to him to be Spanish.
Okay.
So this guy is like, they are causing a ruckus and he calls security.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Makes you wonder if, like, did you just not recognize a language, or did you?
maybe it's
hear
muffled, like you
Spanish?
can't really hear very well. You know?
Yeah.
You're just like, "Meow, meow, meow, meow."
But I
know
mean, if
it's
they
a
were on the
male.
balcony, if you open your door, you can
hear it.
Other
yeah.
than like if the ship is moving, then it might be like wind.
The
taking,
sound
you
is
know?
blowing. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
really know, but for whatever reason, it was like it sounded to be Spanish.
Okay.
Then he heard someone say several times, good night, over and over again. And it sounded like they were ushering people from the room. Because I guess you can hear the movement of the voices as it goes across the wall.
Okay.
And he could hear them cross the room and exit the cabin and walk past his cabin door. And as they went down the hall, the guy opens the door and looks down the hall to see, like, what the fuck was going on in there.
Yeah.
And he sees 3 adult men, which look to either be white or Latino,
Okay.
walking away from him. So I'm guessing the fucking Russians and Josh or whatever. But there's
Yeah.
only 3 of them. But we had 4 men in the cabin, right?
Okay.
4 men went back with George, but only 3 of them left,
Yeah.
according to the neighbor.
Okay.
And he stands by that 100%. He's like, there is no way I'm mistaken that. I could have mistaken Spanish for Russian, but for sure there was 3 men, not 4.
Okay.
The guy says that he could still hear movement and one male voice in the cabin after those 3 men left. He heard cabinets opening and closing and the toilet flushing. He said he heard what he thought to be the balcony furniture being dragged around and something was picked up and dropped. It made a loud noise. What's interesting is that several other people who were in the cabins around the Smiths also heard the banging and yelling that night. So there's several accounts of this.
Okay.
And people assumed that the cabin was being trashed. Like, people were fucking raging in there.
Oh, wow.
Then,
There's a lot of noise.
Yes, a lot of noise. Then at 4:25, they all collectively claim that they heard a horrific thud. I'll tell you later what that probably is. So security rolls up at about 4:30, 5 minutes after the horrific thud.
Oh, God.
Which is 25 minutes after the neighbor guy called, right? He's like, there's a problem up here at 4:05.
Yeah.
And it took 25 minutes for him to get up there. So
The ship's not that fucking big.
I don't know, right? I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So the security guy gets there. He knocks on the door, and the neighbor comes out and is like, hey, man, you're going to want to get in there because there's a lot of shit going on.
Yeah.
But nobody answers on the other side of the door, so the security guard just leaves.
Oh, no.
He's like, not my fucking problem. And he bounces, okay?
Relatable.
But now it's quiet, so nobody fucking cares.
Yeah.
At the same time that that's happening at George's cabin, the security guard's knocking and everything, another maintenance person finds Jennifer passed out on the bow of the ship and calls security. They had to get a wheelchair to bring her back to her room because she was so inebriated. And when they got her to her room, nobody was in there. George was not in there.
What?
And the balcony door was shut and the curtains were pulled.
Uh-oh.
So it's not like he was out there having a cigar or something because you wouldn't close the curtains behind you if you're going out on the balcony to have a cigar.
Well, but I mean, you could have had the curtains closed and then just like,
squeeze through them.
Yeah,
You
move
could.
them to get out the door.
You could. But it looked like somebody had like closed down the cabin for the night, like to
Yeah.
go to bed.
Yeah.
Like if the Russians put George to bed, like
Yeah.
they said or whatever.
They didn't go out to the balcony because they're like, there's nobody out there, clearly.
Or if the Russians did something on the balcony and then when they left and they want to make it look like nobody was out there and they closed the curtains.
Yeah.
But we're only 5 minutes after this. This
Yeah.
is so crazy. So they get Jennifer in bed, they leave her in her beautiful gown and everything and just throw her to bed and they close
As
the
they
door.
should.
Yeah,
Could you
and they're like,
imagine if they're like, unpack her
"Good luck."
pajamas?
Yeah, no way. So they leave her be. So now it's July 5th, the next morning.
Okay.
Jennifer wakes up in cabin 9062. And when she wakes up, she's still wearing her pretty shimmery dress. Her new husband is George is like nowhere to be found, right?
Yeah. She's got a massive headache.
Yeah, she's so fucking hungover, okay? And she couldn't remember much from the night before because she blacked out.
Yeah.
So Jennifer's awake with no memory of what happened.
Why is there a
knee
wheelchair in my
hangover.
room?
Yeah. And she realizes that she has an appointment at the spa for a massage and she didn't want to miss it. And
Yeah.
she's like, oh shit. She wasn't really worried about George because she knew that they had been partying the night before and was like, George is probably off partying with some friends.
Yeah.
Sounds like maybe that happened before, or she just wasn't that concerned.
Yeah.
So she jumps up and she gets to her massage. And
She doesn't
while-
even remember how she got home.
No,
How is
no,
she
no,
going to
no.
be concerned about how her husband
She's
got
just
home?
like, oh shit, good thing I woke up. Let me go get that done because I want a fucking massage.
Yeah.
So she's getting a massage. And while that's happening, there's this 16-year-old girl who's walking the cruise ship, right? And she had just gotten a new digital camera. So she's taking pictures of shit.
Oh,
And
good
as
for her.
she's walking around, she gets to deck 7, which is 2 floors below George Smith and Jennifer Smith's cabin.
Mm-hmm.
And she sees what appears to be blood on the rail. And so she looks over and the lifeboat is there. And there's blood all over the canopy of the lifeboat.
Uh-oh.
As if somebody had fallen from the balcony, whacked themselves on the boat, and then
Uh-oh.
fell into the sea.
Oh, my God.
Oh my God, right? And she's like, what the fuck? This is blood. And so she tells security.
Did you take
obviously.
pictures of it?
Yes, there's pictures of it.
Girl.
I guess when
She's
she
a
was
future
looking at it,
us.
I know, right? I guess when she was looking at it, she noticed that there was like handprints and what looked to be handprints and feet print, like as if somebody had tried to stand up on the boat. And then on the edge of the canopy, there was like blood and fingerprints, like somebody was hanging onto the edge of the fucking lifeboat
Oh my
before they fell into
God.
the water.
How scary.
I know.
What the fuck?
I don't know. But when I looked at the pictures, I was like, I don't really see hand and footprints, but I don't know. You know, out of
Yeah.
context, it's just
Yeah.
a zoom in of a white blood spot. So you don't
Right.
get the whole picture.
Right.
So, like I said, they notify security because now there's a concern that somebody went overboard. Security does a count of the boat, and they realize that both George and Jennifer are now unaccounted for.
And Jennifer?
And Jennifer, because she's not in her cabin or whatever.
Oh, okay.
And then
she's at the spa.
Exactly. So they realize she's at the spa and they go find her and they go tell her this unimaginable news that they suspect that George is a man overboard because there's all evidence to suggest he went overboard. Where is he?
Nothing will ruin your spa day.
Nothing.
Like a missing fucking...
Or your fucking honeymoon, like a dead husband. God damn
husband. It. Yeah, Jesus.
Oh my God.
What a disaster.
Okay, so obviously this is a terrible day for her.
Yeah.
Immediately the theories start rolling in that maybe this is a suicide and that George had finally had enough and he fucking jumped, but his whole family was like he had everything to live for and he was on this beautiful cruise. That's not the case. Whatever.
Yeah.
We really think
you
something
wait till the
happened.
last day at least.
Well, the captain of the ship, this little dick, he noticed the morning that the accident happened that it appeared that there was like a butt print in the dew on the balcony of George's balcony, like as if maybe he were sitting up there smoking a cigar and like a rogue wave knocked him off and he fell into the water.
Okay.
And so this is the captain's angle. The whole time the captain is like, nothing to see here. There's no fucking murder. It was an accident.
I'm sure. It's like nobody dies at Disneyland, you know?
Right. He's like, we have a tight fucking schedule to uphold, okay?
Yeah.
So
George like, he did it to himself. Leave him.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the whole thing that the captain's saying, which does not help this investigation.
I'm sure.
So George's parents and siblings suspect that he had been murdered that night and that something terrible happened to him and their son and brother and probably at the hands of the Russians and Josh.
Yeah.
So, like I said, obviously George is now dubbed man overboard. An investigation begins. The Turkish police are brought on board because that's where they're at.
Yeah.
And they get on the ship at like noon on July 5th. And they take blood samples from the lifeboat canopy as well as some blood stains that they found in George's bed. They were so small, but they were there.
Okay.
And all the blood came back as George's. So it's really weird that he also bled in his bed the same night that he went overboard.
Yeah.
It later came out that the Russians had videotaped themselves all sitting around a table aboard the ship on July 5th, and they were like mocking and joking about George's death. Like they were not remorseful, they were not concerned, they were joking about it.
Before or after they knew that he was dead, you know?
After. Like people,
okay, so after, like everyone's like, George has been
dead.
overboard, and they're like, that guy we had parties with.
Right.
Wow.
Right, yeah. Very not nice. Allegedly, in this video, one of the men stand up and make an incriminating statement regarding George's demise or whatever, but it's not specified what he says. Like, I threw him in the fucking ocean. I don't know. It just says that he makes some incriminating statements. The investigation gets really messy because there's the cruise ship authorities, there's the Turkish authorities, and then the ship continues cruising because the captain is like, listen, we wait for nobody, even if there was a murder. Like, we got to go to Italy.
Yeah, we got port to make.
Yeah, and so that's what he did. He took all the fucking evidence and all the people that need to be interviewed by the Turkish police, and he brought them somewhere else in fucking Italy. And so
then
the
let them all off the
Italian
boat,
authorities,
too.
yeah, the Italian authorities had to get together. So you have all these different
jurisdictions.
Exactly.
Jesus.
And like the cruise ship has the video evidence from the Russians, but the Turkish police have the DNA from the blood. Like, it's all over, right?
Oh my God.
The FBI eventually have to pick up the case, and I guess they start targeting the last 4 men that brought George back to his cabin, obviously, right? Josh and the 3 Russians.
Mm-hmm.
The theory being that if they had overheard rumors that these people were really rich, that they would plot to go steal their money from the cabin, right? Like, go get George wasted, go put him to bed, and go steal all his fucking money.
Yeah.
So that's what they're thinking happened, and then something went terribly wrong, and they fucking threw him overboard or some shit. I guess the men have all been questioned several times, but because of the lack of investigation and cohesion between all the agencies, the investigation is just a total shit show, and it takes some time to bring like George's killers to justice, or even to prove that it was a murder. Because at this point, even now, it's still like we're pretty sure he got murdered, but it's like he's just man overboard.
Oh my God.
Yeah. George's family eventually fell out of contact with Jennifer because she started acting what they called suspicious. She refused to talk to them about the night of George's death because she's like, I don't remember anything. I was blackout drunk.
Yeah. And what more can I say? I can't say things that I don't know.
Right.
And then anything that I do say, you're going to scrutinize with a fine-tooth comb. And I was fucking hammered.
Exactly.
I was asleep on the bow.
Right? Well, they felt that it was really convenient that she doesn't recall anything on a night that would be very helpful for you to recall anything.
Sure, I'm sure.
Yeah. They fucking fell out of contact with Jennifer. So both Jennifer and Lloyd, they were given an FBI polygraph exam, right?
Okay.
Because like the whole Russian story is that they were off gallivanting around the fucking boat, and that is why they got in an argument. And maybe Jennifer is the one who killed George, right? Like, that's their whole spin.
Yeah.
And so Jennifer and Lloyd both take lie detector tests administered by the FBI, and they pass. Like,
Yeah.
they're telling the truth.
Yeah.
Whatever, if we're going to trust that.
Yeah.
So they were not having an affair.
Yeah.
It is suspicious that both George and Jennifer became increasingly less coherent between the hours of 2:30 and 3:30, according to all of the guests that did see them. They were like, they were doing fine. And then in the last hour that they were out, they just went downhill. Like, they weren't coherent anymore.
I mean, that's kind of how it happens.
I agree. But then also, it is possible that they
were
could have been drugged or something.
Yeah. True.
And there is an interesting event that happens 2 days later on the fucking cruise ship because they're still cruising.
Oh my God.
Okay, so on
Could you
July...
imagine
No.
trying to party still?
No.
Yes,
This
they'll
is
have the
insane.
pancake breakfast.
I cannot. Okay, so it's July 7th on the cruise ship, 2 days later after George is overboard and just fucking gone. Like, we did
Yeah.
not recover his body.
Yeah.
There's just blood on a canopy and he's gone.
You're not going to
I know, which is crazy. The Russians, they party with another 18-year-old girl that's on the ship. They get her fucking smashed. They tell her they're going to take her to her cabin, but they take her to their cabin. All 4 men are in the cabin, the 3 Russians and Josh.
Yeah.
But the 3 Russians take a camera and they take turns recording raping the 18-year-old.
Fuck.
And Josh just watches.
all of that.
So they drugged the 18-year-old and they raped her. That is a fact. Like,
Holy shit. And they recorded it?
And they recorded it. And it was at this time that finally
They're already on speculation of murder here.
Yep. They were causing
Maybe
some
walk
issues.
the fucking line.
Wait,
you know?
here's the worst part though. The girl filed like a report with the Italian police and was like, I've been raped on the ship. And they were like, this is out of our jurisdiction. And then the boat, all they did was kick the Russians off finally. They were like, you guys gotta go. Like, you're causing too much of an issue.
What?
So the Russians are gone now.
Okay, might
For
as
rape.
well let go of the fucking unapprehend the people who are the suspects.
I know.
You just
Isn't
let
that
him go?
Crazy. Yeah, and they're just someplace in Italy. Like, you gotta get off the ship.
Oh
Okay.
my God.
Yeah.
I thought maritime law was supposed to be so much more than
Maybe
like, regular
Maybe
law.
it is now. I don't really know. But like, obviously George's family is fucking pissed about
Yeah.
how everything is handled.
And that poor girl.
That poor girl. So can you imagine being on a ship the rest of the fucking time? I'd be like, let me off at port too. I have nightmares. This is traumatic. I don't want to be here.
Well, let me off. I'm going to go fucking hunt these men down.
Right? In another country. So in 2006,
Not
Jennifer.
afraid of your laws.
Yeah.
I'm American.
That's right. God damn it. In 2006, Jennifer settled George's wrongful death case with a cruise liner out of court for $1 million.
Okay.
George's family was like, that's a fucking cop-out. He was worth way more than $1 million. Like, this whole thing is so fucked. But they suspect she didn't want to go to court because she would have to admit to incriminating things or embarrassing things, like flirting with other people or hanging on other people or cheating.
Or it would have all those videos or surveillance cameras and stuff brought up.
I know. I don't know. But from Jennifer's standpoint, she's like, I just want to be done with this. I don't want any money. Like, this isn't what I'm in it for. I just want to be done.
Yeah.
Now, people are still being deposed in the death of George, right? And they deposed Josh. And when they asked him if he played a part in the death of George Smith, he replied, I invoke my Fifth Amendment right, instead of like, no. And he just said that during his whole deposition. It's theorized that the collective bang that was heard by everyone at 4:25 in the morning was probably George going overboard and hitting the lifeboat before he went into the ocean. Mm-hmm. And that's where that teenager found all that blood and everything. Mm-hmm. The keycard records do in fact show that the Russians used their key cards to enter their room for the night at around 4:05. So that would align with their story that they just put George to bed and went to sleep. However, the key card only records it if you swipe it. So if there's 3 Russians in a room,
They could let you in.
Yeah, that can let you in, and you leave one person behind in George's room to take care of whatever the fuck just happened in there.
Yeah.
To throw him overboard and get rid of the evidence. You could leave George's room without a key swipe, and you could get into your room by knocking without a key swipe. So it's not that. But the Russians are like, thank God for that. Thank God we were there.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, that's not that great of fucking evidence because there's loopholes.
Yeah.
Very obvious ones. It's really weird. So a couple more points to finish it off because we don't know. We don't have conclusion right now at this point. Nobody has been brought to justice for George's death. Jennifer moved on and had a whole other family of her own. She doesn't take questions about any of this shit. She's like, I just want to be done with it.
That was a pretty fucked up part in her life, you know?
Yeah, when it's supposed to be the most amazing part of her life.
Yeah.
So whatever. But I mean, the few last points I have are like, why add Lloyd as the one that Jennifer is cheating with? Like, that's weird. They were just picking someone, I guess. I don't know.
Also, she wasn't really cheating.
Well, according to their story, like
Yeah.
if you're to spin it, because for sure I'm like the Russians and Josh did something.
Yeah.
They fucking were raping people 2 days later.
Yeah.
There's no way
They're
that they
not good
didn't do-
guys.
yeah, exactly. So for sure it was them. Whatever happened, something bad happened when they were in there, whether it was planned or not. And then they probably were trying to rob him. Nobody knows if they actually got robbed. Which I'm like, ask Jennifer if they had the money. I don't know. Like
Right.
nobody. The family's like, there's no way they would have brought that much money.
Right.
Do we know? I don't know. Like, or did they take it all? We don't know.
She kind of should say something.
Right? But
you know?
I don't fucking know. I'm sure it's in some report somewhere.
Yeah.
Anyway, but the four men are the only ones that talk about Jennifer with Lloyd.
Poor Lloyd. He's like, I was just fucking there.
I know,
He had a girlfriend.
exactly. But like none of the other patrons ever confirmed that Jennifer and Lloyd were all over each other or anything weird was happening. So for sure, to me, that's just further evidence that this is a setup.
They're
right?
trying to,
like
yeah.
they're trying to frame Jennifer for whatever the fuck happened here and get all those stories to align.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if they stole anything. Like they had to have. If you kill him, you had to have found something that you're like, this one's mine.
I would think. But I
Yeah.
mean, he could have had like jewelry on his person.
Well, there was a comment that said that maybe because he had a really fucking nice watch
Mm.
that was gifted to him from his best man or something from the wedding. And they're saying that the blood found on the bed could have come from trying to get the watch off. And then, like, the blood on the lifeboat would be from fucking.
Yeah. But
Getting
they would
whacked.
never know if it was missing or anything because
Yeah, you
they
don't
don't
know.
have his body.
They don't. And he would have been wearing it. So who
Yeah.
knows what they got away with? Yeah. So we don't fucking know.
Holy
Like,
shit.
That's all we got. That's all we got. It's just we don't know if anything got stolen. Those people are free and running around. I guess the FBI was investigating them and shit, but there's no evidence. There's no like we don't even know if it was a murder.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's so scary.
Isn't that crazy? So I don't want to go on a fucking cruise.
You will.
I know. I do. I do want to. But yeah, terrifying.
I hate it.
I hate it too. So, if you guys want to check out pictures pertaining to my case, you should go to our social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, X, and TikTok. Our handle is at ISGD Podcast. If you want to email us, you can do that at isgdpodcast@gmail.com or you can snail mail us at
P.O. Box 2764, Spring Valley, California, 91197.
9. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.